Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on The Insight. Today, on The Insight, we'll look at Nigeria. He's the headline again, branded a country of particular concern by the US. What does this bold move mean for diplomacy, security, and aid? Stay tuned as we unpack the high stakes behind the tense US-Nigeria relations. And today, we are looking at country of particular concern, designation, implications for US-Nigeria relations. And with us to unpack and unravel these whole issues is also Barrister Ofokansi, a legal practitioner, human rights activist, and a proud farmer. Also, it's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me on this morning.
All right.
Yes,
you're welcome. Today is US-Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, also, I want to ask, for the sake of our audience, what does it mean to be designated a country of particular concern?
Well, you see, some people call America, ironically, the policeman of the world. Yes, but then again, they need to express that their might, in very positive ways. And that was what led to I think it was in the Third Amendment, that they now try to protect freedom of religion worldwide, showing that any country that doesn't allow freedom of worship, that country has something up their sleeves, and nobody should die for his faith. So they now say that if there is any country that have ample evidence that people are being murdered for their belief, for their faith, that country should be designated as a country of particular interest. And that the Second Amendment allows them to impose severe sanctions and even talk with other allied nations to impose same sanction. So the issue of Nigeria became headline news in 2012 when President Goodluck Jonathan, after the abduction of the Chibok girls, Obio Ekwesili, I think it was Obio Ekwesili, and the rest of them, they now take the Bring Back Our Girls slogan. This present president today has to tweet, I think that was also in the same 2012, that Jonathan is not only clueless, but cannot protect lives and properties of Nigerians, which is the primary aim of any government. Because ordinarily, he cannot sit by and Christians are being slaughtered in their thousands in northern Nigeria. I'm talking about the man who is today the president. I think that time I was a senator there or something like that. Now, the table turned. Jonathan lost the election in 2015, principally because of this, because the Chibok girls was a very big stain. And even media houses, national televisions, I recall that Anagolo of Arise News was echoing this cluelessness of Jonathan, especially because of the outcry that followed the arrest and abduction of the Chibok girls, many of whom have not returned till today. Now, that having been taken, Buhari won the election in 2015. And the table changed from PDP to APC. Now, rather than the massacre of human beings, whether Christians, whether Muslims, to abate, the intensity increased. Not that the intensity increased, the government then began to, romance with them. Because I put it that way, because I recall, it was said, the same Gumi, who said that anybody who will come out to say that going to kill people who belong to Boko Haram, that they should not vote for the person. Because this Boko Haram, I am brothers. Gumi I'm talking about.
Okay.
It was the same Pantami, who was then minister for, I think, internal affairs or there, something like that. Yes, Pantami under Buhari, who also said that both the Boko Haram people are better Muslims than some of them. So you find out that there were a lot of sponsors of Boko Haram who were even in government of Jonathan, which Jonathan even said that his problem is that we discussed at National Security Meeting, National Council of State, executive meeting of the ministers. At the end of the day, whatever they discuss, they relate to the Boko Haram sect, which means Boko Haram in his cabinet. Jonathan lamented that.
Okay.
So people were calling him clueless. Now, when he appointed Ihejirika as Chief of Army Staff, Chief Ihejirika pushed on, head on, with the extermination of this Boko Haram sect. He actually dealt with them. The same Rufai, who later became the governor of Kaduna State, said that what the Ihejirika is doing is trying to square up the number of young boys who were killed during the Igbo Nigerian Civil War. He wants to match up the same quantity in the north. That is why the people he's killing are not Boko Haram. And that also made, at the end of the day, when they removed the Ihejirika, the thing now continued again. Amodu Sharif, who was then governor of Borno State, was not only romancing with Boko Haram, but he actually was partners in crime with them. Meaning that when he got to Cameroon, he was arrested in Cameroon. I'm talking of the former governor of Borno State.
There were evidence to this?
No, Google it. He was arrested in Cameroon.
Okay.
Nigerian government now showed interest and pleaded with the Cameroonian government to release the man. So he was released. And that was because of his involvement with the Boko Haram. You are correct, the vice president. Videos that went viral when he was campaigning show him, adjusting, petting and adjusting the cap of these boys in the forest, this Boko Haramic sect. And people now told him, you belong to this sect. He didn't even deny, didn't accept. It has ever remained an albatross on him. Now, because of all this, America now saw Nigeria was giving lip service. Good to us. When Trump came first, he saw the thing earlier than even some of us. And loving Nigeria, calling a particular concern, CPC. Joe Biden came, removed Nigeria from there, and said that whoever is being killed in Nigeria, it is farmers' headers clash, and it's because of climate change that there's certification in the north, and people are drifting down south to come and feed their cattle. So that is why they are having some clashes with it. They remove Nigeria. When Trump came back, he relisted Nigeria again. But then, when he relisted Nigeria, I think he came back last year or last year, they were still collecting evidence. And the thing now intensified, the intensity increased. And the most victims, but they nearly wiped out Southern Kaduna during the era of Buhari. Southern Kaduna was nearly cleared. Because most of us who stayed in Southern Kaduna, we know that Southern Kaduna are principally Christians. I taught in one of the secondary schools in Kaduna during the service years. So,
which of the localities?
No, I was in Dusima, Zaria. Okay. Dusima was the southern part of Zaria. Yes. So I was in Dusima, government secondary school, Dusima, Zaria, when J.B. Sariki was the principal of the school. Okay. So I know the principal, all of them, because that's the principal of the school where I was then was also a Christian. So majority of people in Southern Kaduna were Christians. So the martyrdom was in Southern Kaduna then. Now, having conquered Southern Kaduna, the next point of call now became Plateau. And as they were heading to Plateau, Buhari left office. Tinubu came in. Now, remember, Tinubu told us he will continue the good works of Buhari, which Wike, before he joined him, asked us, which one is the good work of Buhari? Is it the people dying every day? Is it the hunger in the land? So that killing continued. But the irony of the thing that now made America bolder now, not only designating Nigeria as CPC, economic and particular concern, but also threatening to send soldiers to Nigeria, is because these people will now come and, this Fulani terrorists will come and sack out a village, they'll come and sack a village, and then put their own signboard. Now, land reclamation in this 21st century, and now name it their own community and start living there, and nobody will ever be arrested. Now the only person who even resisted them, I think it was either in Nasarawa or the same Plateau, this young man, he overpowered one of the Asama who was one of the Fulani who was destroying his farm, and because of the fight, he overpowered him, took his life and killed the man. He was arrested, taken to court. Court convicted him and sentenced him to death. He went on appeal. Appeal court ratified the death sentence. He went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court ratified it. Now, the people who sacked their village and occupied the village, nobody has ever been prosecuted. Nobody has ever been taken to court. Now, the world, it was so glaring, and thanks to social media. Special thanks to social media, because if you are waiting for you journalists on national televisions, you don't tell us those stories. It is only social media that will tell us what is happening. Because many of you are watching the censorship of the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission. So we take our precaution even when we appear on the national televisions of this nation. But the truth must be told. These things are there. It is because it's not affecting you. That is why you think it's not happening. If you move from here to Kogi, just cross anywhere you can, get to Kogi, you will see the damages that is being caused. Check the prices of tomato. This is tomato season. If not because Nsukka people now went into tomato and pepper cultivation. You were buying a penta of pepper, 26,000 naira. So it is because the people who are farming there in the north, Kogi, Nasarawa, Plateau, these people have been decimated. They need to pay these terrorists to go to their farms. So America now designated Nigeria country of particular concern. It is even long overdue. The only one many people quarrel with is also sending soldiers to Nigeria to come and then decimate these terrorists.
Okay. All right. As a router, what would deal with proven facts as journalists and insecurity anywhere, any death anywhere affects each and every one of us. But moving up, we'll take a look at the video from the Bishop of Benue Makurdi Diocese before we go into the conversation proper.
Of Benue State in Nigeria. I am the shepherd of one of the 4 dioceses, Catholic dioceses in Benue. We have others, Anglican, Methodist, and Pentecostals, which central them. Benue State has a population of about 6.1 million people, 2 million of whom are those under my care as the bishop of the diocese. Benue State is about 98% Christian, with very few Muslims living in towns. Nigeria and eventually my diocese and the state of Benue have become, in recent years, one of the most dangerous and insecure places for Christians. Christians and Muslims are nearly evenly divided among Nigeria's large population of over 200 million persons. Islamist extremists are fiercely contesting the possession, control, and governing law of the land, especially in the country's northern and central regions, the latter of which is where Benue is located. There are constant ethnic, political, and religious conflicts over land and allegiance. Constitutionally, we are a secular country, but our unity has been fragile. Political and religious actions and even public speech have been carefully managed to avoid accusations of religious bias and political tensions. Today, the clear influence of Islamist extremists has changed the traditional social dynamics of tribe, ethnicity, religion, and the social status in Nigeria. Because just recently, at the beginning of the Ramadan fast, 12 states in northern Nigeria have declared closed schools so that they attend to this. And you can imagine, which other country in the world does that? Saudi Arabia is not doing it. Afghanistan is not doing it. Baghdad is not doing it, but then Nigeria is practicing. What kind of Islam are they practicing? 12 states, and not only Muslims are living in these places. What happens with the educational program or curriculum of the country? But this is what we are going through every day in Nigeria. A long-term Islamic agenda to homogenize the population has been implemented over several presidencies through a strategy to reduce and eventually eliminate the Christian identity of half of the population. This strategy includes both violent and non-violent actions, such as the exclusion of Christians from positions of power and adoption of such church members, the raping of women, the killing and expulsion of Christians, the destruction of churches and farmlands of Christian farmers, followed by the occupation of such lands by the Fulani herders, and also changing the names of these villages. They are taking over the places, so you clearly see an expansionist approach and Islamic, and then they are making the people now flee
Also, in view of the clip we've watched,
Yes.
we are aware this is a serious but very delicate issue. However, there are many like Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka who are of the view or describe the situation as a form of genocide, but emphasizes that it is not solely religious. What do you have to say?
Yes, you see, Matthew Hassan Kuka is a bishop. He's also a politician because I've known Matthew Kuka from First Act Town, where he was the priest in charge in Lagos before he even became a bishop. He's a public analyst. He's a public affairs analyst, like some of us who go to television stations and radio stations. And he chooses his words very carefully. Like, you see what the bishop now said. He collaborated everything I have said earlier. He said even people who go to public discourse or debates, they chew their words to avoid backlash. But we have gone beyond chewing words now. We now say the truth as they are. So if Kuka says it's not purely religious, he might be getting it wrong. Let me now tell you why I said he might be getting it wrong. 1 million Christians massacred in Yellowwater. 10,000 people massacred between the months of this and month of that in Plateau. The question is, who is massacring these people? That is the question Matthew did not address. If Hassan has addressed that, he would have known it is a religious genocide. Because all the killings are being perpetrated by a given religious sect, the Muslim sect. Whether you call them Boko Haram, whether you call them Islamic sect, whether you call them Fulani herdsmen, principally the Fulanis brought Islam to Nigeria through Ottoman Danfodio. So predominantly wherever they stay in the Futa Jalon and any of the West African enclave, they are Muslims principally. In fact, if there are 100 Muslims in any community, then 99 of them will be Muslims. One might be, a traditional religionist or somebody who believes in, but I doubt. So all these killings are being perpetrated by them. You have never heard that Christians invaded a mosque anywhere and they eliminated Muslims. No. It is still Muslims killing Christians, Muslims killing Muslims, Muslims killing non-Christians, non-Muslims. So you find out that if Matthew now said it is not purely religious because that's what they did their advice, including Gumi, that Muslims are also dying, Christians are dying. That is not only Muslims that are Christians that are being killed. Now ask yourself the question: who is killing these people? That's the question they should address. If they address it successfully and tell me that Christians are, listen, the other man in I think Sabon Gerikan or sometime in 2016 or thereabout, the wife took a piece of paper and cleaned the mess of the little child, threw it into a dust can. Before you know it, rumor began to circulate that the man desecrated the Holy Quran. Before you know it, people were surging to his compound. The wife took grace, the man ran into a police station. I think that was during Abacha's time, not even 2006. It was during Abacha's time. That's what happened before politicians. It was during Abacha, because I remember Abacha tried the soldiers who went to the police station where the man ran to, brought the man out, cut off his head, and hung the head on a pole as if they were celebrating the capture of Satan. They ran around the entire Sabon Gerinkan. Abacha was miffed with that. He brought the soldiers who accompanied the civilians to the police station, tried all of them. So a few of them were executed. But has the man come back? The man has not come back. Then Deborah, who also Deborah, I think it was in Sokoto, a student of Ottoman Danfodio College of Education. In their normal platform, people will leave what they are doing and start preaching. He said this platform is not for religious preaching. They said she has blasphemed. And in the glare of everybody, students who are supposed to know better, stoned the lady, the young girl, to death. Now, if I keep on recounting, the other lady who was preaching in the morning, they said they were doing their morning evangelism. she was, rounded up by young boys, slaughtered. Early hours of the morning for preaching her religion. I'm coming. Now, with all these things happening, you have never had, you live in Enugu. I live in somewhere in New Haven Extension here. Early every morning around, what tells me that day has broken is the Muslim microphone that will start announcing their early morning prayers around 5 o'clock. I wake up and say the day has broken. Nobody has ever gone to stop them for putting that microphone to wake us up in the morning. Nobody has ever done that. And no, nobody do it in the north. Nobody ever tried it in the north. So if you tell you it's not religious cleansing, tell me it is a lie. So America knows your security, knows your intels even better than you.
All right, sir. But looking at this situation, given that ISWAP and the bandits, when they go often, is driven by economic and territorial quest, even like the bishop and the police said.
Yes.
So one may want to ask, the U.S. action, does it not risk conflicting security and political crisis with purely religious undertone?
No, you see, I said it that the one that very charter, that the third amendment did not allow them, is invading any country. All right? You can designate a country of political can sign, give whatever concession you want to give. I'm not what do you call it? I'm not an advocate of America's boot on the soil of Nigeria. I don't advocate for that, because wherever they have gone before, they didn't. When they go out for that place, it has never been rosy again. They went to Libya. You see what's happening in Libya today. They went to Venezuela. They went to Afghanistan. They went to name it. Every place where they have gone to, that when they went to Iraq to remove Saddam Hussein. Today, Iraq is ruled by militia. Remember before, we used to watch Arabian Nights movies. And these movies are cast in Iran and Iraq in those sweet days. But no more, after America invaded them. So they might have some other economic interest. But the question is, why should even the Nigerian government allow the thing to escalate to such a level that America will now threaten to have their boots on the soil of Nigeria? That is the question I'm asking. It is now that the military is now publishing names of Boko Haram that were killed, that were arrested, that were this, and want them to show all their faces. If they have killed anyone, show all the dead bodies. If they have arrested anyone, show all their faces. Remember these ones that were arrested during Buhari's era? Once they arrest them, they sew a Shebi dress for them, give them uniform, and then train them for a few weeks, give them a few bags of rice, give them more condiments and some more cash, and tell them that we are now reintegrated into the society. Left to Buhari, Buhari could have wanted Nigeria to be an Islamic state because he's a fanatic. Truth of the matter. Remember, it was Buhari who said if Jonathan reaches election, I think that was in 2012 or thereabout, that the baboons and the monkeys shall be soaked in blood. Somebody who is a presidential aspirant. And people actually were soaked in blood. You can recall that.
All right. But given that Nigerian government counter-terrorism efforts, how credible are U.S. claims of existential threats to Christians in Nigeria? Being that we daily witness government efforts, and when these people strike, let's say if a bomb goes off in Nigeria, it doesn't distinguish between a Christian and a Muslim. We know what has happened in Kwara State. We know what has happened in Niger State, where indigenes were meant to pay tribute to the bandits, and these are Muslims as well affected in these situations. So, is the US justified to tag this a threat to just Christians?
Well, if I tell you they are not justified, then I'm telling you lies. Nigerian counter-terrorism efforts, if we must tell ourselves the truth, do we even have counter-terrorism sports in Nigeria? Do we have? The project that people might wear uniform, label themselves, give themselves any nomenclature they like. They can call themselves any name. Remember, after the NSAS, they changed the thing to SWAT. After SWAT, they now have a lot of other tactical squads in police, Octopus, just name it. I can't remember all their names. Even Hawk, the Hawk Squad, the Octopus Squad, anti-kidnapping, SWAT. There are very many now in Nigerian police. But the question is, the only place where you see their action, where they are very, very effective, is when me and you go to protest what the government is doing. That's where you see Nigerian police, all those tactical squads, and even the army come after us. People who are doing peaceful protest, that is the ones that our security agencies can mow down if they like, throw canisters and even use live bullets. But on Boko Haram and on those insurgents, they romance with them. Because you saw the peace moves that are happening in the north. They will say they are going to have a peace meeting. After the peace meeting, the next day it will become worse. Another group might step in and then demand their own booty. Because Nigeria is now heaven for every form of all shades of terrorists. They come in here at will and live at will. You can see what happened now. Immediately America gave their threat of bringing troops to Nigeria. Niger quickly started sealing up their borders. Because during the Sahel Alliance of Sahel states, they succeeded in driving at least 60% of the terrorists out of the Sahel states. And many of them drifted into Nigeria, where they are being romanced by the government. Because they are being romanced here. And that's why they are free here. So if you tell me that the counter-terrorism squad in Nigeria is working, I have not seen it work. It only works when there's peaceful protest. During the NSAS, the army was very, very bold to put fire on the young boys who are carrying Nigerian flag. In the last hashtag 20th of October, hashtag release Martin and the kind of protest, you can see what happened. Where 2 or 3 people were just discussing, they threw tear gas at them. And before you can say Jack Robinson, that's why firing live bullets. Thank God in that one, no life was lost. And now they started making arrests. After arrest, they dragged them to court the next day, or just 2 or 3 days thereafter. That is the way, that is the only area where our security agencies are very strong. Quelling riots and protests, telling people not to pray, even when you are protesting for them. Because the bad life in Nigeria affects them more than me and you. Go and look at the police quarters. Go to police. You can't eat there. Go to military barracks. Forget the section where their big men live. That's what they like GRA. Go to the side of the money market and see where our soldiers who fight for us to sleep in the night, where they live. And so these protests where the people do is also for their own good. But they are the ones who bring canisters of tear gas and arms and ammunition and fire at protesters. That's where they are strong. It's universal in Africa. It happened in Madagascar that way, even though at the end of the day, the soldiers are aligned with the people. Today, the Museveni campaign is going on in Uganda. While the campaign is going on, Museveni goes, as old as he is, he goes to his own campaign in a peaceful convoy. Bobby Wine, who is the choice of greater part of youth in Uganda, they will torture him, they will tear gas his crowd. The crowd kept coming. Look at what's happening in Cameroon. The man who actually won the election has been shortchanged by the Constitutional Council.
Okay.
Now look at Tanzania. The users in Tanzania, they are on the road. Close to 4, we're getting to 4 or 5 days now. Now, what we are saying in effect is that the Nigerian government ordinarily should not have waited for this thing to escalate to this level. What this bishop said is just the tip of the iceberg. Because bishops oversees the diocese, and diocese is very large. Go to individual parish priests where these things happen. Let them give you gory stories of how people are being butchered, how churches are being set ablaze.
Okay.
And you have to tell me how many mosques have been set ablaze.
All right. Let's look at this infringement, for example, or this designation, starting with the tweet from the President of the United States of America, where he said, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the U.S. will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, fictitious, sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. Bearing this in mind, yes, I would want to ask, and though our Ministry of Foreign Affairs has responded to this, but I want to ask, does the U.S. involvement not qualify as an infringement on the sovereignty and involvement on or in Nigerian internal affairs?
Uche, I don't think the last part of the tweet, that is guns are blazing, blah, blah, blah. Those ones is one I told you earlier that I don't agree with.
Okay.
But with sanctions, No, but if they start imposing sanctions, who will suffer the sanctions? Me and you. The common man in the street stay. Not those of them who are stealing our commonwealth. Because Nigeria is the most blessed country in the world in terms of endowment of natural resources under our soil and our subsoil. There's no country in the world that has the number of minerals that are in Nigeria, no country. Name it. From California, which is one of the most expensive minerals today, that are mined in the Zamfara forest illegally and being sold, and they tell you it is Boko Haram, to gold that is mined in Zamfara. The other one is Sabisa, the other one is Zamfara. And in Zamfara, you can notice that even in Zamfara, they are mining the gold also illegally and selling to Chinese. But Chinese have to build a dusty runway inside the forest in Zamfara that made the Buhari even say he's imposing a no-fly zone in Zamfara. So when Zamfara has no airport, you can imagine that kind of thing. Now, talk about the blue diamonds. Then let us leave the oil, because oil is already everywhere, including the Benue basin. There is oil there, just like you have oil, especially in that part of the southeast. But our gas deposits, because gas is the future, our gas deposit can last Europe, America, and even some part of Asia for the next 100 years. And where is this gas deposited? Imo State here. And they are building a turbine, a pipeline to connect this thing from Imo State to Europe. It's in Google it, it's nearing completion. And that is what brought Hope Uzodimma into Imo State via the Spirit God. Otherwise, somebody who came forth cannot just suddenly confess. But Spirit God said, first person, fourth person has not become first. And it is even in the Bible. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. So it happened in Imo. But there is an aim why the man is there.
All right. On that note also, we'll go on a short break. And while we return, we'll continue to look at this geopolitical interest.
Yes.
Thank you for staying with us, and we've been talking with Ozo Barrister Ofokansi on the implications of U.S.-Nigeria relation as pertaining the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And also, before I ask the next question, let's take a look at the rebuttal or the press release from our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And it reads, the United States of America has made its statement on religious freedom. Nigeria has noted, we remain committed in our resolve to tackle violent extremism that is fueled by special interests who have helped drive such decay and division in countries across the intersecting West Africa and Sahel regions. We mourn all the victims of violent extremism and salute our armed forces as they continue to fight against vicious but cowardly foes. The federal government of Nigeria will continue to defend all citizens, irrespective of race, creed, or religion. Like America, Nigeria has no option but to celebrate the diversity that is our tolerance, that is our greatest strength. Nigeria is a God-fearing country where we respect faith, tolerance, diversity, and inclusion. In accordance with the rules-based international order, the U.S. has been and we trust will always remain a close ally, because the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu will remain our laser focus and steadfast commitment to all partners who believe in genuine peace, stability, freedom, and democracy. Signed by the spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja. And also, having listened to this press release, I want to ask that many critics argue that this designation could be politically motivated. How would you respond to concerns about geopolitical interests shaping this decision to designate Nigeria a country of particular concern?
You see, he said you've been indicating that the American blah 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 is noted. That's what the ministry wrote before they announced that all the other ones they wrote down. Now, first of all, let us first look at this from the point of view of trying to save lives and stop the carnage of Christians. In fact, the carnage of anybody, whether Christian or Muslim, no life is worth more than the other person's own life. Now, but you should also understand that to fuel one tomahawk in the United States to move it to Africa to fight any insurgency, you know how much it's going to take. America cannot do it for free. Certainly they can't do it, even though Nigeria is not inviting them. But if they eventually come and succeed in saving this massacre that is going on, you don't expect them to do it for free. But you know that we have what we shall pay for it. Politically speaking, I said it, I keep on saying it, that I have, even though I know if you put the weight on the altar of public opinion, greater public opinion welcomes the American visit. They want them to come. Because somebody asked when I did a radio program yesterday morning, if you are asking your father to do something for you, and your father refused, and somebody now offers to do that same thing your father could have done for you, wouldn't you appreciate that person? So if we have been begging the Nigerian government to stop the carnage, especially the killing of Christians, and they refuse, and somebody now says, no, it's coming to stop it, why should we tell the person not to come? Because nobody wants to die. You can recall that these politicians brought these people to Nigeria. Obasanjo was here for 8 years. Did you hear any insurgency? The only thing we hear about Obasanjo's time is that maybe oil bunkering, and people, soldiers went to stop it, and people, they attack soldiers, and Obasanjo sent soldiers to the place to unleash mayhem on them. But this issue of Boko Haram, I think it started roughly during between 2012 or thereabout. I think Obasanjo has left office. And that was when, what was that man's name? He was arrested in Borno. And he died under, questionable circumstances in police detention. So having died, his sect went underground. And when they resurfaced, it now blossomed into Boko Haram. And when they saw that, following the fall of Libya too, a lot of loose arms were circulating in the Arabian world. It was easy to get catchment of arms, until eventually the Sahel region also helped to drive out some of their own terrorists out of the Sahel region. They now saw Nigeria as a heaven. They all drifted into another Nigeria. So that's why talking about peace cannot have any meaning. And that's why it is like you rightly pointed out that some villagers were trying to pay up, in terms of settlement, to pay you the taxes, that allow us to go to our farm. So it is because Nigeria became a heaven for all sorts and all manner of terrorists. That is why it is happening that way. So the political undertone in the thing, if they come here, there is no way they can do it for free, even though you are not asking them to come for it. But it is their right to protect every religious sect. They are not saying people should not practice their Islamic religion. Did they say that? No. But they said don't kill Christians because of their faith.
All right. Also, I want to ask, let's look at implications now. And like the letter rightly pointed out, the US are our allies. So what does this designation really mean for the U.S.-Nigerian relations?
No. Like you said, Nigeria, US is our ally, and they keep on being, they continue to be our ally. You can know that Nigeria, like I said, because of the bounteous nature of the mineral resources in our country, every nation of the world is interested in Nigeria. Nigeria has one of the greatest number of intellectual capital that, apart from Israel, that occupy sensitive positions in the United States, even becoming mayors of the various local governments. You diagnosed with an ailment here, and you are flown overseas to maybe to the United States to be treated. Lo and behold, you go there to be a Nigerian doctor that will attend to you. A Nigerian who is a medical doctor in the United States. So they saw the large wealth of resources in us, both natural and human resources. And they wouldn't allow us to be, destroyed by religious extremism, because if they allow it, it will have a repercussion effect, including even in the American military. The greater number of Nigerians in the American army. You see how many of them. Google how many engineers, Nigerian engineers that are in the United States. Google how many Nigerian doctors are in the United States. So they are our ally, ordinarily speaking. So that big brother syndrome will also be played out, because they now see something is fishing, and if it is left unchecked, by the time Tinubu completes his 4-year tenure, I doubt whether we will still be in Enugu here doing this program on Aneke TV, because they must have overrun Plateau, they must have overrun Benue, they must have overrun Kogi, and the next target is Enugu. And if they overrun Enugu, the next target is Imo and Abia, until they dip that Quran, which they have been praying, that they want to dip the Quran into the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay. Also, let's assume, like Trump had said in his tweet, that America decides to put boots on ground, or decides to intervene through air or use of drone, however, beyond the diplomatic channels. Are there security implications for Nigeria, talking about their intervention?
Yes, there are. One is that you don't need to come into any country, any sovereign nation, carry out that kind of thing, the guise of protecting anybody without the consent and the permission of that country. You can see when Nigeria did that kind of, they did it twice. They tried it in Britain, but that one was foiled. It was Buhari. They went to abduct in 1983. Went to abduct
Omar Odiko.
It was abducted. It was defoiled at the airport. The same Buhari went to Kenya and abducted Nnamdi Kanu without the consent of the Chinese Kenyan government. And that was when the suit filed in Kenya slammed both Nigerian government and Kenyan officials and awarded Nnamdi Kanu heavy costs. I'm not international that is recoverable, but which they have not also recovered. And Nigeria is still trying the same person they went at. So if Trump brings boots on the ground to stop the massacre of Christians, what is wrong with it? After all, what goes around comes around. If you can go to Kenya without Kenyan authority and abduct somebody. So what stops other people coming to our own country to stop mayhem that is happening in your country? This one is coming to help us even. They went there to commit an offense. Nigeria went to Kenya to commit an offense in Kenya. But this one, what is it called? America is coming here to assist Nigeria, what they could have not done themselves. Because the same thing Tinubu criticized Jordan for is what is happening under his feet. And he's keeping mum. All of them woke up now, foreign ministry, the army, name it, DSS, they have now woken up because America said guns are blazing. Are you not even sure that America has come to Nigeria already? Are you not sure that how can we not even be sure that they are not already in the country here now? So leave our people, we like lip service. Something you could have done since 2012 when this thing started, 2012 to 2025. A child born in 2012 by now will be finishing secondary school. You have not done anything there. Somebody now said, no, the people that are being slaughtered are human beings. We are coming to protect them because we know the enclaves where these people are. And that's why I say it's going to be selective, precise, and sweet. So it is going to be swift. So just like these people just do their own, come in the night, massacre a village, and disappear. Tomorrow morning they put up a signboard. and say it's now their own community and live there. And the people will come and pass. The army will come and pass them. But if one of them is seized, the army will attack the entire village. So this is blasphemy where we are just trying to undo ourselves and know what we are doing. So the security implication is that the army, the police, our security agencies, what you fail to do, somebody is coming to help you do it. Accidentally assist the person. After all, you have had military collaboration with America before. The Nigerian army has had, go and Google it too. They have had military collaborations with the American army, both in training, logistics, and other modern equipment.
Okay. In that regard also, yes, we are aware that the Nigerian government in the past has collaborated with the U.S. Army and even had mercenaries from South Africa helping to curb the insurgents towards the tail end of the Jonathan administration. Now, the government of United States towing this part, is it a vote of no confidence on the present Nigerian government?
Yeah, because what you can see, a lot of things lend itself to this vote of no confidence. Brutai, where he was chief of defense staff, a lot of people were accusing him that he was siphoning the military budget to buy houses in Dubai. Nobody has ever probed that incident. EFC have never probed it. The military intelligence have never probed it. The Nigerian security defense force have never probed it. And they know. Now, Christopher Musa took over from him. And the rate with which Christopher Musa was trying to protect these Christians, many of them were, because chief of defense staff is just like a political office. But chief of army staff is directly in charge of the army. But chief of defense staff is in charge of both Air Force, Navy, and Army. So it's like a political Armageddon for him. So, but nonetheless, the man did his best. Before this issue of rumor of coup came up, he was removed. Now another person has taken over. We don't even know where that one is going yet. But there is something that happened during the peace meeting towards the end of Buhari's era. I think it's towards the end of Buhari's era. When the bandits, or early beginning of this era, when the bandits now said that one military commander somewhere in Plateau, in Plateau State, must be removed if this peace is going to have meaning. And the man was removed. Not that he was dismissed from the army, but he was transferred out of that very position. So the now bandits are now telling us what to do and how to do it. So why should American government have faith in that kind of system? If you were American government, we have faith in that. If they tell you, don't worry, we have learned the strategy you taught us during the collaboration, we will do our best and make sure that we eliminate these boys. How are you sure that they will do the thing they have told you? Because from that period they have left them after the collaboration. Have they done anything positive to reflect what you have taught them? They have not done that. So that's lots of confidence and faith in the Nigerian army. It's palpable. And like I told you, the only place where they act fast is only quelling demonstrations. That is where Nigerian soldiers and Nigerian security agencies, that's where they are strong. So maybe after quelling shooting and dismantling the protesters, peaceful protesters, they may be promoted generals, because none of them has ever fought any war yet. Many of them are, they become generals on their table. Yes.
Also, before I let you go, finally, I want to ask, this designation of Nigeria as a country of particular interest, and if possible, at the end of the day, we were to see boots on ground, what will be the impact for Nigeria and Nigerians in particular?
Long-term impact. That's why I said I don't encourage boots on the ground, though, because the people place where they don't go before. What are they up to today? So, but if it becomes necessary that they must come, let them come. Because if they come, the impact is going to be very, very enormous. We might not get out of it. It might even lead to dismembering of Nigeria. Because the one thing with militias and terrorism is that you chase one group, other group surfaces. They have only succeeded in pulling them out. Even in the United States, people still get radicalized, get into a train, but this was individual terrorism. They get into the train, open a gun and fire everybody in the train. I start laughing. So this might be as a result of drug, as a result of radicalization. So, but I advocate. I know we are going to suffer if I suggest these sanctions, but I prefer, that is, hardcore sanctions against Nigeria and individuals. And again, I will add by extension, they know the sponsors of the terrorists. They know them. They know those of them in government. They know those who are not in government. Let them get international arrest warrant from International Criminal Court in Hague and serve it on those people, whether they're in government or not.
All right.
So that will now at least instill fear that will know you. Remember, they gave them this list, including Dubai, brought their own list after sentencing some Nigerians to prison for terrorism in Dubai. They now brought this to Nigerian government. Look at their terrorist sponsors.
All right.
Go after them. Up to today, nobody has ever shown up that list.
All right. So on that note, we can actually attest to the fact that the U.S. designation puts Nigeria's future ties with America at a crossroads. How Nigeria responds will shape the path forward. And also, Barrister Fokansi, a legal practitioner, human rights activist, and a proud farmer, has helped us to illuminate and give us deep insights on this issue. Also,
thank you very much
you
for having me.
All right, and that's it for today on The Insight. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for topical issues.